I love it! Here we go, baby. I'm going to help you be successful. That's my job. Believe it. I've been doing this 27 years. That's a fact. Disney ESPN ain't going to help you because none of them know the right side. Trust me, they know nothing. Let's kick their ass. They don't know a damn thing about handicap. And I'm coming after you, Disney. I'm the guru. I'm Sportsguru.vegas. That name was earned by picking winners. That's how it works. Make no mistake, I'm here to win. Good morning, gurus. Big day today in the NFL. Welcome, Sports Guru Vegas, live Las Vegas, Nevada, the greatest city in the world. Welcome to my show for you new followers on X.com, TwitterX.com, and TikTok. Welcome to the show. We're gaining more followers on those platforms. As the season's been going on, it's been harder to get out and meet people, especially with other issues I'm dealing with. But I'm very grateful that I have platforms I can reach out to from where I need to, where I live and stuff. So, and that's helped me a lot from my end, gurus. And welcome to the show. Exciting day today, gurus. The playoffs are always a awesome time of the year. It's in a way it's mixed. We're dealing with like a farewell, right? The NFL's kind of leaving us. We'll only have 2 games next week, but they will be interesting to watch as well. We'll talk real quickly about yesterday's games. We split in the NFL. We actually hit the money line. So I need one more. I didn't put it on the show, gurus, but I said it in the last show that I bet the money line parlay, and I had the Ravens, the Niners, and the Lions, and that pays 2-1, very close to 2-1. So if you put 100, you get 200 back, and that's reasonable for these are big favorites, right? We saw that the Ravens didn't need the money line; they took care of that team in the second half. And that's not surprising. They did that the first time they played. And in that situation with rest, it's hard to overcome that if you're the Texans. The Texans are going to be a team to reckon with. They're the new kid in town. Yeah, they're better than Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, I thought, was going to be in the position that the Texans were in this year. But the Texans, they made it clear early in the season they beat Jacksonville on the road. And that was a statement game. And that was the reason they went to the playoffs in sunny Jacksonville, Florida, if it's even sunny there today. But that's what happens. Every game matters, right? And as a coach, you have to communicate that to your players. Because look at it cost them to play. They went 1-5, Jacksonville, in their last 6 games. That's atrocious. But congratulations to the Texans on a great season. Tremendous young quarterback. So Ryan's building a great defense on that team. They're going to get more experience. Look out. And they love football in Texas. So they're going to win a ring before the Cowboys. That's 100%. Yes, Guru. That's a no-brainer. I think Dallas signed McCarthy again. What's he going to do, Jones? He's trapped. He's locked into last year money, and what's he going to do? Pay them and pay someone else? He ain't going to do that. What are you going to? You can't. It's hard to win in 1 year with any new coach. So, also the Niners, they won, but Purdy looked terrible. I was worried about that. You can ask Mark. I told him before the game. I said, I know Love's a better quarterback. That's a no-brainer. If Love was on the Niners, they'd win the Super Bowl 100%. I'd call that right now. He made one bad play at the end of the game, cost his team the game. But look at all the plays he made, and he kept that game managed. They had the lead for most of that game. Green Bay played a great game defensively. They ran the ball well against the Niners. The Niners weren't ready for them. You could see the first drive. But the difference between San Francisco and Dallas is Dallas couldn't stop this team. They scored a touchdown. If you notice, the Niners kept holding to a field goal. And then they started scoring, but the Niners kept up with them enough. They won the game. We projected they were both going to win, and when you're betting gurus, so the way I bet these games yesterday was I had money line, which I told you on the 3 team, and I should have put that up, but it's pretty clear. I should have put it up for your benefit, and I'll do that next year. But that's not in yet. Detroit has to win today. Now, Detroit, you could hedge that, try to middle that, and take Tampa Bay and the points on the road, and that's an option for you gurus if you're in the situation I'm in. I'm not going to do that. I rarely do that in postseason. To me, I'm not here I'm here to win, right? I mean, when it gets to this level, but you can. I'm your guide, as we talked about that almost every day. That I'm just here to be a guide to you. I put this ticket out. This is our round robin today. I will say this to recap: we went 3-0 in the NBA, which was fantastic yesterday. But we went 1-5 in college, and I don't know how we lost one of the games. We were supposed to go 2-4 and hit a ticket. I'll have to. It was a small school. Not sure what happened there. They're winning by double digits on the money line. We were on the road. And we didn't pull it out somehow. So anyway, but that can happen. We're in a transition in college basketball. I was anticipating stronger plays, but I will say the plays I had went 1-2. When that happens, you're not going to win in that. But we did overcome that with a 3-0 in the NBA, and we won outright in the Ravens, and we won the money line. So I have action still on all my money line parlays that I put in yesterday, and that helps. But I knew to cover 2 9.5s or nines in the postseason. It could, if Purdy would have played a game. He's not that good of a quarterback, gurus. That's just a fact. I've noticed that this year. In fact, when we bet the Ravens, I saw he's just not that good. And I think he's going to be the reason they don't win the Super Bowl, if they even make it. Because if they play like that against Detroit, if Detroit wins next week, they're not going to win. They won't win. But then again, Goff's nothing to talk about either. So he's got to prove himself today because he's done shit in the postseason. Now, he played well last game against the Rams. The team played very well. That's why I came back with them today. And this game, you can see it. Lions money line and -5.5. The Blazers. So we have I forgot to, I'm sorry, Gurus. It's the Rockets +11. Not sure how that got on there. Let me get rid of that real quick. We rushed this show out this morning. Yesterday was a long day. Let's see if I can get into this. Well, let me try it. It's gonna, okay, I can do it with, I don't know. Whatever. That's great. I'll just keep it. I love it. And now it's worse. Oh, shit. Let's try this again. I got to go over here. Hold on. What is this? I put a T and an S. Let's try this again. It's too hard to do it now. I'll just keep it up there. That's so tired, Guru. It was a long day yesterday. So it's not the Blazers Rockets, Gurus. It's the Rockets +11. And I apologize for that. Yesterday, I think the last show I had the Ravens spelled INS. I didn't even notice it. It gets busy at this time, Gurus. It's a lot of work. But going back to yesterday, we just had a bad day in college basketball. And that's unacceptable on a Saturday. There's a lot of games to look at. That's just ridiculous. But we're going to bounce back and win. Of course, we always do. But that's not good. I don't like that. It's a lot of work Guru puts into this. But I can't control the outcome. There's inherent risk. We talked about that on my show. I can tell you this much, Gurus. I looked at all those. I looked at a lot of games in college basketball yesterday. I don't know many people who did win, unless you just picked one game out. And the Guru doesn't do that. You guys know that. I'm not going to play one game. I will bet more on one game than another, and but that's that. So a mixed day. You can't win. We did release a couple hockey, and those didn't win either. One covered the puck line, but who cares when you're laying 250? We're being patient and cautious with hockey, meaning we're trying to give out the best bets, and that's a tough sport because the juice is so high and the puck lines don't come in enough for it to matter. So what do I mean by that? If the other team we bet, who was that, Mark, the first game? No, I'm talking about hockey. Oh, ESF Flyers, Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, the Flyers, if they both cover the puck line, it's not as bad. You hit your tickets. Now, in this case, we had it with NC State, so it would have lost anyway. And actually, the ticket went one and just that, but it wouldn't have paid anything anyway. It's like not even, but they did cover the puck and a half, the Rangers at the Kings yesterday. Some consolation, if you will. I do have a equity play out with the Lions with them. So, you never, that's why the way we structure these bets, you want to play them, if you're following Guru, play them the way I have them. So you want to take your plus a goal and a half. That's the way I put it on the show on TikTok, Twitter. But I also put money lines because we did think we liked these hockey games yesterday, and they didn't get it done. One covered the puck line, but that's not acceptable. I think hockey doesn't take nearly as nothing to handicap compared to the college basketball. I put a lot of time into that, and I need to, at least on a day like that, break around even on it. And that NC Central game was with Southern Miss. Those are our top two bets with NC State. That game's supposed to win. And, they're up double digits in the second half. I'll have to look. So I can't watch it. It's a small conference, but that's a tough loss there. You got to win that game. So we'll have to figure that out. But I will say this, Gurus, we're going to make money in the college basketball. It's a lot of work. We're going to have weeks where we have, we're like the NBA, that sort of thing, but with more games to bet. So there's even more multipliers, more volume. But I have to prove that. Now, going into yesterday, we're ahead in college. I believe since the time of release, and I can check that. They're all on TikTok, Twitter. All of the picks are on Twitter, X, TikTok, uh, and it was mixed before I started posting those short videos. So we're hanging around, but we have to. I'm predicting we're going to have a good week in college basketball for the whole week. We need to. They get tight with situations. A lot of games, but some of these spots were very. I laid off a lot of losers, and that could have been bet for an inexperienced gambler. They would have no chance, and I laid off that. So we're going to dial that in, Gurus. I'm not even worried about the college basketball. I did want to have a good day. I told you, Gurus, we should make money. Now the other sports, how we went 4-1, and the others we bet Washington twice. Actually, the Wizards against the Spurs yesterday. I released it twice on the show. So that's an extra win, even though it went 2-1 on one and it lost on the early ticket. So, but we're dialing it in. This show, we're in our ninth week, Guru. So we're still dialing it. I wasn't able to get all the picks out. I had one more pick, Southern Miss, and I never put it back out because we had a technical problem with one of my with my betting app. And so I had to take care of that. The game had already started. I said, forget it. But that and NC State was our best bet. We split, and then we lost. Central was the one right behind it, and that should have won. Anyway, I know people say that all the time. Guru, I've been doing this for over 25 years, Gurus. Just to let you know, the word lock. When someone says lock, I walk away from them. There's no locks. We're not locksmiths here. We're here to predict probabilities, not guarantees. You want guarantee, get a locksmith. Break your lock or go buy a lock and he'll put it in for you. 100%. A guaranteed. They can make the key, it'll work, and all that stuff. Um, but there's no locks here. There's probabilities, and we have to win more than we lose on a monetary level, predicting these probabilities. That's all this comes down to, gurus. We have a little time this morning, so I'll probably do about 15 minutes more. I'm not going to go past 30 minutes. There's no need to. There is a lot to talk about. And the game, actually, there's no games at 10. I'm so used to the games starting early. This is crazy. Yeah, this is new for Guru. I never had a show. I mean, I had a show in 2019, right? I shot that, but I haven't done it in 4 years. My show, almost 4 years. It'll be, well, close. Yeah. That's a long time. So it's all, and I'm older now, and I've had China virus 7 times. So the brain's, even though I know what to do, it's more difficult 4 years later with all this insanity going on. What's up, buddy? Hold on, boo. So anyway, gurus, this game I want to spend a little time talking about Buffalo. This is going to be really an interesting game. It's the last game. And you can say, well, Guru, why did you take the Bills today, Guru? Well, I'll tell you why. Okay. They've lost one game since their coach, their offensive coordinator was switched. Okay. And the Bills were an emotional team last year. Hamlin had that heart attack on the field. I think a lot of people were hoping they would win it last year. But, what's interesting, Gurus, is things don't always happen right when we expect them to. They happen when they're supposed to happen. If you're religious, you'll say they happen because of God. God decided it. And that's fine. You want to say God chose the Bills to be better this year than last? Go ahead. God is manipulated a lot of ways, wars, there's all kinds of manipulations God's used for. It's disgusting, in my opinion. But I think God's a spiritual situation, and I think the games are the games. And we thank God for having the opportunity to do this show and bet games today and reach you guys and with your families, hopefully. So, but I don't want to get into this philosophically, but let's give me a break. Forget about all that. And let's figure out, why is Guru playing Buffalo? It's insane, all this. And it's because I believe, first of all, I believe this is Mahomes' first road game, correct, Mark? Yeah, so it's his first road game. And there's a reason it's his first road game. The Chiefs simply aren't a great team so far this year, right? What does Guru mean by that? They're 2 games away from the Super Bowl. But I believe this year they're not going to make it. They're not going to make the Super Bowl. I'm saying that right now. And if I believe that, and I do, then they're not going to probably win this game either, because they're not going to win next game. The Ravens are playing at a very high level. And I can say this, and I have said this recently, over the past, since we bet the Ravens at San Francisco, that was it. That was enough for me. Lamar Jackson, he's one of the question marks that people have a hard time buying into. And I understand that. But I will say this, if he's playing like he did yesterday again, like he's done for the regular season, you can't beat this team, because you have to defend the run, and then you have to defend him running and passing. That's too hard on that. Think about the constant. It's kind of like college basketball yesterday, right? I'm going through game to game, game by game, saying, okay, we've got to get something else we're missing. And it never came. For every reason I had to bet some, boom, I got stopped. And that's unusual. You're supposed to have more room than that. But they didn't give it to me yesterday. And the games, I'm supposed to go 2-1. That's the Guru's standard. That is my standard, right, Mark? Thank you. That's a no-brainer. I thought we won. I'm going to tell you something, Guru. I like that, Mark. So Mark's sending out some things. Can Goff get it done? We'll get into that next. But what we're seeing is is, in my opinion, um, you know, even Brady didn't make it to the Super Bowl every year, Gurus. He won 7, correct? That's insane. But he never win every year. And why does that happen? Because, yes, the quarterback's the reason the team wins. And he is the reason the team loses an individual game, right? So you could look at Love yesterday, right? Love had a very good game. He did. He outplayed Purdy, and I knew he was going to do that. Everyone does at that level, except for Duck Prescott, right? Um, but Purdy got outplayed. That was an easy call. He couldn't hit the damn target right in front of him. He got lucky that they're a great team, and they are a great team, the Niners. He's on a great team. He's not. The team is. Let's make that very clear, Gurus. But they won us a half-ass ticket for us, which is fine. Equity is equity. We take it. That's part of winning. Thanks for that last drive. I will say on the last drive, Purdy did a good job. He did. There's a mixed when you listen to the post game shows, there's mixed reaction to Purdy, right? My reaction is plain and simple. You play like that, you're going to lose the next game. That's what I would tell him. If I'm his players, I'd say you do that again, we're going to kick your ass in the locker room. That's what we used to do when I played. You beat the shit out of someone if they didn't perform. That's enough motivation right there. That's how you do it. Now you don't hurt them, but you give them a hard time. Maybe military is like that too. Gurus, you guys know this. Some of you know it. You're in the military. Um, Guru wasn't. My dad was, and I played competitive sports growing up, and obviously after that, pickup games and stuff like that. It's the same. You always want to contribute to your team. You don't want to be the reason your team loses the game. And they didn't lose the Niners, but if they had lost, we know why. It'd have been Purdy, 100%. No brainer, by the way. Defense played pretty well. They stopped Green Bay when they were supposed to. That's their job. So back to this Bills, and then we'll get to your question, Mark, with Goff. The Bills, this is it. This isn't it, but this is the momentum. Sometimes, Gurus, and I told you I have that future bet. I made that after they beat the Patriots at home, Buffalo. They were 20-1 to win it all, and they are 9-1 to win their division. I bet both. Okay, that's a good return. I've already hit the divisional winner when Miami played, and I bet Miami in that game. I released it on TikTok that night. I bet it. Not. It is also a bit of a hedge, but I bet it because I thought I like the points in the Miami. Look how close that game. They should have won Miami, but they kicked off and allowed that return to beat them. And then he tanked Tua on that last drive. He threw a pick. You can't do that. Tie the game, or at least go for 2 and lose by 1. Then Guru wins, and the Bills win. Everyone's happy. But that didn't happen. So here are the Bills, and they're playing a team that they beat earlier this year in Kansas City. And I think I think that matters psychologically. Now, you could argue, and you should argue, that the Chiefs don't want to lose this game. But if you look at Buffalo, they've always been close to beating the Chiefs. They should have beat them in the playoffs too. Was that 2 years ago, Mark? Yeah, they should have beat him then. They should have beat him then. Hold on, buddy. Um, but they didn't. They should have. It was one of the greatest football games ever played. We've talked about that. So, Baron, zip it. Anyway, Gurus. So Buffalo uh, has crossed that plane. I bet we had Buffalo against the Chiefs. Okay, in the game, and I believe I released it. I don't remember. I'll have to look back, Gurus, but I believe I did. I know I bet them, so I must have released them. Um, and that was a bet. But you understand it's a regular season game. So let me make something clear to you. If this was a regular season game, I'd probably take Tampa Bay today. Oh, at Detroit, I'd take the 6. I'd take the 7. But this is not. It's a whole nother level. The psychology behind The way these players think and act is night and day. And I know that because I've been doing this a long time. Now, does that mean I can always take advantage of that financially? Of course not. If that was the case, there would be no casinos here. We're trying to beat a very sophisticated software system. And let me tell you, gurus, I've done this a long time. I break down these matchups. I know how hard it is for someone who doesn't have experience to win. Even though I didn't win in college basketball yesterday, I hit every NBA game. And then we hit when we split the NFL. But we won both games on the money line. Now, I take credit for that. Why so far? I haven't hit the ticket yet. I did hit a ticket with we put the Portland Trailblazers in on Friday, if you remember, Gurus, on the show. And I put it with the two games, the Ravens and the Niners. Now, that round robin hit on the money line, and it went 2-1 laying the points, and they won outright, Portland. Don't forget, they won on the money line against the Nets. I mean, the Pacers. So, if we look at the bets from a structural situation, we did great. We hit a nice plus on the Portland, and we always bet that for something 10 to 20%. We know that, gurus. Um, and then we had it with two money line winners, which are high chalk, we call that. High chalk means you're paying a lot to win the game. $4 plus is ridiculous, gurus. But I bet it helped. It helped us go 2-1 on one, plus the money line. So that's a nice accelerator there. And so everything I do, I'm trying to get that extra advantage financially with, because I know the randomness of the games are random. We could have went 5-1 in the college and 0-3 in the NBA, quite possibly, and that will happen. That may happen next weekend. I don't know. But the whole structuring of these games to make money is critical. So not only do I have to pick the games, I got to put them in the right place. And that's why I'm upset about that NC Central game, because I had it with the winner, the Pistons in the morning, then I had Southern Miss, and then the Charlotte NC Central, excuse me, just tanked. Got to win that bet. That's our day. Anyway, we will, gurus. Just frustrating at times. Very. Um, can Goff get it done? I like that question. And then we'll wrap up everything with all the games, including Buffalo. Meaning they beat them in Kansas City this year. I think it's their time. They won a Super Bowl last year, the Chiefs. I think that's good. Don't get me wrong, he's the greatest I've seen Mahomes at quarterback. He'll be challenged by Stroud at some point. That's a fact. And Jackson's challenging him this year. Jackson's outplaying him. He is. That's a fact this year. That's a fact. Would you agree, Mark? Is Jackson outplaying Mahomes? Yeah. I mean, is it definitive? I can't say that. Well, I will say this: in the scheme he's in, Mahomes will get his head smashed in. He could never run that scheme. That's why it's that's why it's hard to stop Jackson. You can't run a scheme. You have to be an exceptional runner and thrower. Don't forget he can throw very well. And there is no one that can. Allen's can do that. Allen could run that offense at Baltimore, and they'd be very effective as well. And I'm kind of hoping for that today. That's part of the reason I'm taking Buffalo, because Allen can run better than Mahomes, much better. I mean, we've seen that. We saw it last game. He ran for a 40-yard touchdown against Pittsburgh. 50, I don't even know. It was insane. 40, 30. But the kid's amazing. And he's being coached better. Structurally, he's being coached better now. That's why he's so amazing. Okay. Who isn't amazing? Well, let's go to Goff. He's not amazing, gurus. I'm not betting this game because of Goff, but I love this coach for Detroit. I think he's what they need. He's a winner. What's his name, Mark? Do you know it? It leaves me right now. You got to win today, and then I'll never forget it. Look, I haven't forgotten Ryan's name for the Texans. What is it, Mark? For the Lions, you even know, you nutcase? Yeah, find out for the gurus. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, but I like him. That's what we need in America, a guru coach. He's a motivator. He talks shit. He's pissed. He dips, right? Spits it out. I like that. Gritty. You want to play for a man like that. Now, I think they beat him in Tampa Bay. They'll beat him today, Gurus. That's how it works in the postseason. That's how it works. And I believe Goff's a good piece. They have a good running game, Detroit. I like the way they call their plays, play action plays, because Goff. Campbell, thank you, Mark. Nice, tall player, can see. Boom, he's got a good, strong arm. Can't run worth a damn, but he can get away if he has to from some. So we like the Lions. I told you that last week. I told you that we're going to take the Ravens, the Lions, and the Niners, and now we're going with the Bills as well. Um, and again, Gurus, we love this stuff, right? Like I'm getting ready for these games as if I'm playing the game, not at that level, but I'm excited about these games. I don't. Look. I'm an investor. I'm a handicapper, and I have standards, Gurus, and you have to in life, right? You have to have standards and guru, and you got to work for those standards. And I did yesterday, and that fucking team. And I'll never forget that. I don't know what they. In fact, I stopped watching. I figured that, and I know I was so tired, and it was a long day. I was watching the NFL. I didn't even bother watching the NCs. I figured that game was. I didn't even look. I looked later at night. I said, "What the hell? What's this?" Right? Oh God! But that's the game. That's we call it a wheel. That's my wheel. You got to win your wheel bet, and you go 3-0. That's how you do it. And we will do that, Gurus. Keep in mind, every time I don't do it, I have to do it later again more. So I get that. And the games keep coming more, but that's going to benefit us. It will. You'll see that, Gurus. We're going to go on a run. You'll be excited. Just like we did in NBA. And let me say this about the NBA. We've hit our last 4 bets that I've released. And that was hot, very hot for 2 weeks, essentially. So we're not done here, Gurus. Now we got to make sure we keep our standards in the NBA like we're right. We want to maintain the NBA. It's helping us. We want to maintain that. We don't, when it hurts us, we better damn well have a big day in college basketball. That's how we're timing all this. We have to make money at some point. We're challenging, we're managing our plays. Yesterday on releases, I doubled up, went 6-6 on went 6-6 and then hit Washington twice. So whatever. And that means we didn't do bad. Yes, we did bad because of the college basketball. But if you look at everything from what I released, and if you include Friday, we won because we hit a round robin on the money line with Portland. And then we went 2-1 with the money line Trailblazers, but we split the spread. So whatever. That's a good return on your money, Gurus. So we're competing. We compete every single time. Every time. And not many people can say that. So that's why I started this show, Gurus, because we're here to win. We look at this board today. We don't say, "Oh shit, I'm afraid to." No. Oh, am I going to lose today? Fuck all that. Losing's free. Disney, ESPN. Not this man here. We win. We put these games out. We need to win these games. Let me put them back out, and then we'll go back to Mark's. So we have the Blazers Rockets. We have the Rockets. And the Rockets, I have a future on them that probably won't win to go to the playoffs. It's 25-1. They probably won't get there, but they've been hanging around and they're getting a big number at home. So we'll see how they do today. They're playing Boston. Boston's, will they care enough to win by 12? I don't know. But they're traveling today. Rockets got to stay in their village. Maybe that'll help. Lions money line. So getting back to your question, Mark, about Goff. Um, we're going to find that out today, Mark. He's got to, if he plays like he did, so Guru's going to say, if he plays like he did against the Rams, we don't have to worry about our bet. We win. That's what we say, Gurus. And then the last one, we've waited for this game. I told you I would, Gurus, till Sunday. I told you I would wait, but I'm going with the Bills. And you know what? There we go. We're going with Buffalo. I think it's their time. I think like every great player, especially in football, Mahomes is a top great player. He's got 2 rings already. Um, and if he, that's who you're betting against. But I think this year the Chiefs have never had it together. I think Kelsey's between his shot vaccines and his new girlfriend is a never land personally. Even though he's a great player, I think he's going to be twisted. I hope he comes back next year after being with this crazy lady, right? She's a nut, woke, complete. The I hate. By the way, her music's not that good. It's massively studio produced. Gurus. I mean, what does Guru know about music? Enough, because I grew up when music was real, when it was live, and you could get into it. I'm talking about all music, rock, R&B. My brother and I used to go clubbing every weekend, for Christ's sakes. I know music, believe me. And that ain't music what this woke woman's putting out here. It's crap. Your 5-year-olds like this shit. Okay, fine. But that doesn't make it quality. Sure, it makes her money. Okay, fine. She has a lot more followers than Guru. Who cares? She's to me, what is she representing? Fake. She lip syncs her music. And they're done. I like Buffalo. I think Buffalo's very focused today to win this game, and they will win today. Lions, Bills, and we have the Blazers, Rockets. We have the Rockets at home. Let's do one more question from Mark. Uh, oh, NFL must come through. NBA is a good seam for us. Yes, sir. Very good. Mark and I know that. Lions need one. That's true. And we'll close with this one. Lions need this one to fill. They do, Gurus, right? And I think, Mark, you brought up something with Michigan. It was an interesting metaphor he brought up. And he said, what'd you say, Mark? Because they can hear you. Michigan has to keep winning. Right. So his philosophy is Michigan got cheated, if you will. They tried to take like Trump. Right? They tried to take their coach, the bureaucrats from their team, and Guru kept betting Michigan. I didn't give a shit. I had him against Ohio State. And that fires teams up, Gurus. That's the way it is. And I agree with you. We're talking, and Mark brought up they got cheated in Dallas, right? And the funny thing is if Dallas would have lost that game, they'd have been on the road. I believe, right? They probably would have won. They cheated them so they could get a second seed. Right. So they cheat down the Cowboys to get a second seed. So they get a home game, Dallas, and they got murdered by Green Bay. So what's the difference with organizations, Gurus? You saw it for your own eyes yesterday. If you saw what Guru saw, I saw Green Bay play the same way against San Francisco that they did against Dallas, but they lost. They lost the game. They beat the shit out of Dallas. They beat the shit out of that team. They do own them. I get it. Fine. And the Niners do have beaten Shanahan's never lost to this coach, by the way. Right. So, but he played to win. He outcoached Shanahan for the whole game. And I don't agree with that as much. I shouldn't say that as much. They outplayed the Niners because Purdy's not that good. I'm telling you all that now. I'm stating it right now. You heard it from Guru. I've been saying it. I never talk about him. I bet against him when I had the Ravens. That was automatic. And Ravens beat the shit out of the Niners. You see the difference. Green Bay couldn't finish the game. Ravens, that was not even in contention. They were killing that team. That's the quality, the level of quality we're talking about here. It's very visible. Just open your eyes, and if you don't, I will for you, because I understand this better than most people. I've been doing this a long time, gurus, as to how it pertains to making money. And for that reason, we're going to bet the Lions because I agree with Mark. They need this one to fulfill their successful season. Yes, sir. One more time, we're going to close the show, gurus. Blazers, Rockets. We didn't get the Blazer off there. Anyway, forget about Blazers. Rockets plus the 11. You could throw a little money line on there, 10%. Lions money line and lay the points. That's what Guru's doing. You can do that too. I would recommend it. I think the Lions will cover this 7. I think they'll win by 7 or more. That's my belief. I know that Tampa Bay's feeling good right now. They're a formidable opponent. I'm not overlooking this team at all. I'm not. There's no week off like we had with the last 2 teams yesterday. This is a boom. But we do have a dome team versus a grass team, a team that never had to leave where they're playing, and a team that has to travel, a team that's already beaten this team. I think that matters. They beat them in their village on grass, which means they can do it either way, Detroit. And you're going to see that today. I think they win by a touchdown or more, Detroit. Um, and then Buffalo. And you know what, Gurus? It's time for Buffalo to win this game. It is. Remember we had the tragedy with Hamlin, whose probably career's over. I don't know. I think he was on the team this year. But they're playing. There's a lot. They had the shooting 2 years. They were supposed to do all this last year, if you will, because of all these, the mass shooting they happened in one of their towns in Buffalo. So I think they're getting it this year. It's just delayed a year, and that happens, Gurus, as we know in life. Sometimes it takes another year or longer for the things to line up for you in your city, if you will. And I think that lines up today, and we win this Bills game. So we're betting the money line. It's 2.5, and I'll probably just keep that. It's not that big of a price. I do think when the game gets away, if the game gets away from Buffalo, what would be interesting to see is the same game we saw 2 years ago. Wouldn't that be incredible? And then the Bills win in the end instead of losing, which they should have done 2 years ago. Was that 2 or 3, Mark? 2, yeah. So that would be interesting. We'll look for that, Gurus. We have a great, Allen's got to prove himself. And I think he's ready to do that. He has the right managing. Well, what is our fall? I think the head coach, he might not be capable of motivating and understanding the psychology of how to prepare a team to win a game like this. He hasn't done it yet. But if you think about it, he has started that process. He went to the Chiefs and said, "Okay, we're going to prove we're going to beat you guys." And now that's why they have the home game. And that's why they should win today, Gurus. It's their time. I think if the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl last year, it'd be a different situation. I think Mahomes would be like, screw this. My time's limited. But, human beings, Gurus, right? When we reach a pinnacle, Brady's the only player I've ever heard of that ever worked as hard as the year before. And it didn't matter if he had rings. So what? I need another one. Brady. Jordan was so great, he could just show up and win. He didn't have to do anything. He was sick sometimes. And he won a champion. He won an NBA Finals game, and he had the fucking food poisoning and 103 degrees, 102 temperature, for Christ's sakes, on the road. Are you kidding me? Forget it. He's a guru, like a guru from another planet, that man. And Brady's no different. How do you keep working harder like that? That's insanity. But that's what they do, some of these people. And Mahomes has it too. Don't get me Mahomes ain't soft here. Watch Mahomes when he goes on the field. He talks shit, man. He does. He's a badass man, Mahomes. Let's be clear on this. Not only is he a tremendous quarterback, he's got the brain for it's very difficult to beat him. But I think for this season and this game, the Bills will accomplish that. After that, they'll probably sweep them if they play next year. Look out. Because it's like Brady Mahomes. It's hard to beat. You may get on them once. They're going to come back and beat you the next time. They will find a way. They hate losing. And they're so good. And they prepare so well. It's very difficult to beat them. And if Jackson, I predicted on the show Friday, Niners Ravens Super Bowl, and I said that's not hard to predict. If you didn't predict that, you probably don't ever bet. How's that? But um, that's a done deal. We're going to see that, Gurus. My prediction is Purdy's going to play a better game next game, and they're going to win, and they'll probably win big. But we'll talk about that next week. Anyway, Gurus, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I stayed longer. There's no football at 10, so who cares? And I wanted to talk to you guys about a lot of things. One of the things I like to do, Gurus, is share not only my sports betting experience, my life experience, and how it relates to sports betting and how it relates to betting and making money and losing money. And I have the whole thing covered because I've been doing it so long. So I try to help you guys with not only the mechanics, but the psychological aspects because that matters. And then your understanding of talent matters. I've been doing this a long. You could hire me. Any team could hire Guru. And I could watch game film and immediately know what player to choose. That would be easy. I'm mostly right about everything I say. I'm ahead of when people say things because I've been doing this a long time. I know Stroud's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I look at him, his mechanics. Forget it. That's it. I know Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's proven it, but I can tell by watching him. I know Purdy's a piece of shit. He got lucky. He won yesterday. He's on a great team. Let's make that distinction. Not great team. Now, in the past, Dilfer won a championship with the Ravens on a great team. He was not a great quarterback. Now, Flacco won with the Ravens too. Not a great quarterback. Great team. But much better quarterback. You can't call him great, good quarterback. So I don't know what that means, but let's look at most of the Super Bowls. They're won by great quarterbacks, right? The last 9 out of 10, the last 10 have been great quarterbacks if you include Mahomes, not last 10. But we could go back, Gurus. We know what we're talking about here. Manning, Elway, the list goes on and on. Now, Foles, I did have against Brady, right? We took the Eagles in that game and we won that bet. We were getting three what, Mark? Right. They were plus 3.5 or 4. I think they were 4. Yeah, we had that game. We made a lot of money on that game. We had a good season that year also. So we're 4-2 Gurus against the number so far in the postseason, and today will be an interesting day for us. We have take the Rockets, not the Blazers, plus the 11 against Boston. Throw a little on the money line. I want you to enjoy your time with your family. Watch the games like I am with Mark. He's my business partner and best, obviously closest friend. So we're going to enjoy the games. We're hanging out. That's been fun too. And we're going to get it done, Gurus. And again, I'm going to say it. I expect to have a good week in college basketball. We'll leave it at that. Let's get it done. Then we can make this money we should have made yesterday. Anyway, Gurus, enjoy the games. You see what we have here. I want to thank you for viewing. Like, share it with your friends. We need subscribers. I'll keep saying that. And thank you for the followers that are coming gradually on the other platforms. That's nice to see. We got a long way to go, though, Gurus. A lot of competition. That's why I started this in 2019, but I stopped because of the pandemic, right? But now we're here. We're back, and we're here to fight. and where you have to be better than people to be seen and heard. And I have to have standards. I have the ability to get that done. That game is shocking to me, but that's the way it works these days. But comeback gurus tomorrow. We'll have a show tomorrow. I can promise you that. Though I don't know how many games it'll be. We didn't have anything we liked in college today, but we did have this Rockets bet. So enjoy the games, gurus. Have fun today with your families. Have a good day. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow at noon.